Hello, and welcome to another video. I'm using a new mic, so hopefully this sounds a bit better. But we'll go ahead and we'll just jump right into the topic, which first we'll give a little bit of background. So I work on a lot of projects, some personal, some for this channel, and lately I've been trying to work on some for the main channel. I'll give you a little bit of a teaser there for that. But what I wanted to talk about right now is, for those projects, I have to, oftentimes, while I have a big collection, I need to go to Bricklink to order specific parts and pieces. Now, I'm pretty sure it was for this order. It could have been for a separate Bricklink order. I do order quite a bit off of Bricklink. But I got this snail, and oftentimes stores will have a minimum buy. And that's where a lot of the more weird elements come from in my collection. And so oftentimes I'll sort by color, because if you've seen the channel, obviously you know that I like sand green quite a bit. And I'll try and stock up on sand red and sand purple, other retired colors, neon green, neon orange. Just try to fill out my portfolio of colors, I guess. And so, in doing so, I came across a color that I hadn't heard of before. And that's the main topic of this video, Lego Rust. So, moving our snail friend off to the side, let's go ahead and we will take a look at the rust colored part that I ordered. Now, oddly enough, I found that on the seller's store, there was not a picture of this piece in rust. And I thought that was a little odd, but it was fairly cheap, so I went ahead and threw it into my cart, and here it is. And so it's the 1x6 sort of tool holder slash like bumper piece. I'm not sure what the proper name for it is, but I got it and I was like, that looks red to me, frankly. So I went through my collection and I pulled out that same piece, but in red. And so you can see that it's clearly not red. It's almost a darker red. And so I pulled out another piece in dark red. And no, it is not dark red. It's clearly an in-between, which I thought was really interesting. Because, I just hadn't heard about that before. And there aren't that many shades of red that exist in the Lego portfolio. And so I went through and I looked on Bricklink for what were other pieces in rust, to see if I had any. And that's when we get to the main contention of today's video, because this is also a Lego Rust piece, as well as this is also a Lego Rust piece. Now, you may think that, well, those can't be rust. I mean, that's dark orange, isn't it? Well, no, that's dark orange. It's not the same color. It's not nougat. I believe that's nougat. It's something entirely different. And so I went ahead and, in a different Bricklink order, I found another seller who had rust in their store. And so I ordered this piece. And that piece, as you can see, is the same color as the original rust piece. And then another Bricklink store that I ordered from, they had these Technic pins in rust. And so I went ahead and I ordered all of these Technic pins, and they're all in the same color as the original, but yet this piece and this Belleville dog, they're not the same color. And yet Bricklink categorizes them both as the same color, which I find super odd. And so I went through the full parts list that is included in Rust, which oddly enough, these Technic pins are not included as officially released Rust pieces. However, I mean, they're here, they exist, they're genuine Lego, and they're not in the red color. They're clearly this one version of Rust, but they're not this version of Rust. And so it's really odd to me, because when you look through the full catalog of officially released and officially categorized as Rust Lego pieces, you'll find many that have this color and many that have this color. But they're clearly not the same color. And I find it really odd because, R.R. Slugger, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with his content. If you're not, I would highly recommend you check out some of his videos. But, if we'll move this all to the side for a bit, he pointed out that there is a difference between old neon orange and new neon orange, which there is, certainly, and you can see it here, but it's a minor difference. It's not as prevalent as, if we'll move that, it's not as prevalent as Rust and Rust. For some reason, those two are the same color. And I find it really weird because if we go ahead and we look at the glow-in-the-dark colors here we've got transparent glow-in-the-dark on top, opaque glow-in-the-dark in the middle, and then glow-in-the-dark white on bottom. And they are all clearly separate colors, and they're all categorized as separate colors. But for some reason, when we go to our examples of Rust, we get two completely separate colors. And I really find this, genuinely confusing to me. Especially looking at some of the sets that, particularly our original Rust here, was included in. A lot of them are included as, small Technic elements, such as this piece, or even a Technic gear, which I don't have. But they're included alongside a lot of regular red pieces. And it's weird to me because while they are clearly different, red and Rust, they're also very similar in a way that I don't really see the point of including both in a set. And it almost makes me wonder if, was this an unintentional color that was created? Maybe they, had used the molds for black or something, and then they put in red, and it came out with this color? I'm not sure. From what I can tell, there hasn't been a whole lot of research into it, or at least I haven't seen it. If there is, I'd love to see it. But for now, I find this just so weird that this is how it's categorized. And Bricklink is owned by the LEGO Group now. And the LEGO Group's official website doesn't have Rust on there because they use a different color system than Bricklink. I typically use Bricklink's color system because I think it makes a lot more sense than Lego's naming conventions, but this is a retired color. Neither of these colors have been produced in quite a long time, and I think that Bricklink, or the Lego group in this case, should step in on Bricklink and separate them out. Perhaps this piece and this piece and even these Technic pins, perhaps they should be categorized under reddish rust, similar to reddish brown. Or we could throw in the Belleville dog and this skateboard piece, and the pieces of that hue. Perhaps we could throw them into a very dark orange. But the way that it is now, I don't understand why it is that way, and I find it very confusing. And obviously, I'm not currently a seller on Bricklink. That may be something that I set up in the future. But I gotta imagine that as a seller on Bricklink, if you categorize a part under rust, because this piece is not red, it's not the typical Lego red, and this piece is not dark orange. But it must be very confusing to end up with this piece and this piece in the same category. So I know that there's not really a conclusive end to this video, which may be disappointing, but I hope that if you didn't know this before, that this is interesting to know, I guess. Yeah, I really hope that more awareness is brought to this. It's a very, very minor thing. I don't think that anyone else besides me should be losing sleep over which color is Lego Rust, other than me, because I am, constantly. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.